dare you? And to all you little children sitting around in this room watching television, doing all those little things that you're doing, how dare you not take advantage of the education that you have? Because without the education that you have, you are not going to live your best life, honey. You're not going to be able to do anything. You're going to become a burden on the rest of us in society, and how dare you, I don't want to pay your burden. But again, 48 years after Martin Luther King, if you don't take advantage of the opportunities that are there and available to you, all you have to do is get your butt up and go to school. You know, you have to find safe forms for public discourse. Okay? What just happened in Arizona? We can't disagree about things in this country. What just happened in this country? So again, you, the NAACP of St. Cloud, you need to be addressing these really tough issues, not just eating the food. We have to recognize the rights that people grow, and we have to recognize the rights. This is something you say. I read this is from that you recognize the rights that people have to grow and prosper. So if you recognize the rights of people to be able to achieve education, to be able to do that, then that is for all people. It's all jobs have dignity. Jobs of the people that take care of our elderly, jobs of the people that educate our children, jobs of the people that grow and bag our food and clean this room up today. They all have dignity, and they all deserve to be able to provide and to have a livable wage for what it is that we do. And if you care about equality and you care about these racial issues, then these are the kinds of things that you need to be not only thinking and talking, but doing something about. You know, I was doing a little bit of reading about St. Cloud, and you've been having a lot of racial tension in your own backyard. And I read about this whole issue with the Somalian children and how and the kinds of things that they are having to deal with and what people are saying to them. So I just want to remind you that it's your responsibility to remove all barriers of racial discrimination through democratic processes and how you vote and all of those kinds of things. You know, I also want to just take advantage of an opportunity to just to mention a couple of things that are bugging me. We experienced in Martin Luther King's dream an amazing event, something that I, in my lifetime, never, ever, 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 ever thought that we would be able to achieve, and that was the election of President Obama. When's the last time you heard the speech? The whole speech? Last year, they read it, the whole thing last year? Well, then I'm not going to read it again. But then I am going to pull out just a couple pieces that I just want to say. And that is that 48 years after the speech was given, a couple things I think about the speech and about the dream and the challenge that Katrina asked me, and that was, this is one nation, one dream. And so the question was, is the dream realized? Was his dream realized? I think so. But you know the problem with a dream or creating something is that what happens for us is that we make something, you know, we get a job, we go to school, we do whatever it is that we're supposed to do, and then we stop. Oh, I'm done now. We're free. We can go to school, we can eat at the Woolworths, right? We can shop at Herberger's. We can, you know, do all those kinds of things that we were doing where we want to live, right? Right? Okay. So are we done? Did we lose it? So we got there. We was at Freedom's door. Everything was wonderful. Kumbaya. It was a fabulous moment. And then all of a sudden, all this ugliness came back, and we just started eroding everything back that we've accomplished. But I want to remind you that I think that the vision that Dr. King had when he talked about a man being judged by, I have a dream and that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. Well, I think that's Barack Obama. I think we saw it. I think we elected somebody who we believe had the character and the ability to run and take this country to places that we could not imagine. Right? Isn't that what the dream was all about? So I challenge us to think that, yes, we did realize the dream. I believe that the dream was realized. I believe the civil rights movement was a success. We changed laws, the land, we created opportunities of prosperity for all, and we did a lot of things. And then, I think, we got tired and lazy and went home and plugged in our great big huge flat screen TV and started watching The Housewives of Atlanta and got all about everything else and didn't really care about what was going on in the world. Well, wake up, people. Because we need you to take that same level of passion and that same commitment and the same vision and the same dream that Dr. King had, that we had. We marched. We did all of these kinds of things. We committed to each other as individuals and people. We did that. And we can do it again. I believe that we can do it again. I also believe that one of the questions that he asked is, he said that America has given up on Negro people, that it was a bad check, a check that has come back marked insufficient funds. That's what he said. Well, I think that we've written a bad check on the elderly. I think we've written a bad check on brown people who speak Spanish. I think we've written a bad check on the middle class, who we are eroding. Our dollars don't do what they used to do, and what little bit that they did do, we are so in debt. Debt is the new slavery, by the way. It will destroy us worse than anything else. And so, again, I want to, as I close, I'm going to go back to the beginning. This is your life. You decide how you are going to live it. You make a commitment to yourself to live your best life. And if you make a commitment to live your best life, and you make a commitment to live your best life, and you make a commitment to your best life, and you make a commitment to live your best life, and you make a commitment to live your best life, and we all in this room wake up tomorrow morning and look ourselves in the eyes and tell ourselves, and not only are we going to live our best lives, not only do we deserve to live our best lives, but we are going to take every ounce of blood and sweat and tears and commitment and emotion, and we are just going to focus on us as each individual in this room. And we are all going to make a commitment to live your best life. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Reverend Martin Luther King said that. So as I close, I heard something this morning that I thought was pretty powerful. It was about evolution. You know what it said? It said God, or the Creator, or whatever you believe in, made the opportunity of the universe. And every creature creates themselves. We evolve. We until there is nothing left, and then we die. You have to keep evolving. You have to keep fulfilling. So if you accomplish one dream, Miss Kendra, you got your grades up. Right? Okay, now Miss Kendra, I want you to set a new goal. And then when you accomplish that goal, I want you to set a new goal. And when you accomplish that goal, I want you to set a new goal. My grandmother lived to 106 years of age. You know why? Because every day she told herself she had something to do. And when she turned 106, she looked at me and she said, you know what? I'm going to die. And 18 days later, she was gone. So you tell yourself what it is that you are going to accomplish. And each and every one of us, when we accomplish it, set a new goal. And then a new goal. And then a new goal. And Mom, you support her. And you make sure that she does that. And you ask her every day. We asked each other every day, what are we going to accomplish today? What are we going to do today? How are we living our best life? Somebody's not complaining about something. I don't want to hear that. And you don't want to hear that either. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change? This ain't nobody's fault but your own. You realize that, don't you? It's what goes on. This is life is what goes on in between your 2 ears. And you can be like Eddie Hilson, and you can see the beauty no matter where you are. Or you can be like other people. Well, I challenge you today to live up to the dream of Martin Luther King, to live up to the dream of the NAACP. I challenge you to call to action, to do more than just go to meetings. I challenge you to live your best life. And I thank you for this opportunity to have this conversation.
Myself very briefly. I'm not really long-winded. As I stand before you and I look at all of you and I see that Martin Luther King dream has been achieved. There is no way I can say that it has not, because black and white both are all sitting in this room tonight. I moved maybe about 6 years ago to the central Minnesota area. John and I, my husband of 30 years, we were living in Buffalo, New York at the time. John came to me one day and said to me, I was at work, I do trauma nursing, so this is not trauma here. This is more than what I anticipated. At any rate, he came to me one day, he says, Denise, he said, I want to move to Minnesota. And I said, well, you have got to be kidding. I said, you can't be talking about that place I saw on the news around Halloween where they had the awful snowstorm. And he said to me, Denise, yes. I said, you have got to be kidding, right? So, lo and behold, I find myself in central Minnesota. I'm excited about being in central Minnesota. To a certain degree, the weather is somewhat of an impediment for me. We lived in Buffalo, New York, so that was pretty gruesome as well. While living in Buffalo, New York, I can honestly say for you who are the Vikings fan, I feel your pain. I was pretty proud the other day when I was at the hospital. We were watching the television and I saw Philadelphia, the Pittsburgh Steelers get in, so I'm very excited about that. One of the things I wanted to say to you all, and I'm not one for a lot of words, I'm more of action, really and truly I am. As I have traveled throughout the state of Minnesota, I have worked at various hospitals throughout the state. Sometimes I have been the only African American in some of those hospitals. I've been as far as Big Fork, Minnesota. I've been as far as Ely. What brought me out of Big Fork was not racism or discrimination, it was the wildlife. The minute they told me that they gave me an apartment in the middle of the woods, that I had to watch out for the wildlife, I knew I was not